This is a CC Radio podcast.
Welcome to the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews podcast. This is our early drop, early release Toy Story 4 review. My name is Wayne.
And my name is Paul. Welcome along to this special occasion where we have gotten to see Toy Story 4 very early, and we want to give you the heads up on whether this is a franchise continuation that you should continue with. So, Toy Story 4, directed this time by debutante Josh Cooley, from a screenplay by Stephanie Folsom and Andrew Stanton, who was involved in all the previous screenplays as well. It stars all the usual suspects: Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, Wallace Shawn, Kristen Schaal, John Ratzenberger, of course, and then a whole bunch of new talent, including Annie Potts and Tony Hale. Annie Potts is returning from the first couple.
From the first one, right?
But anyway, first one? Yeah, good point.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not 100% sure on that. Christina Hendricks and a couple others that we'll reveal as we go, because this is a completely spoiler-free review to start.
Yes.
We know this is coming out early. We know most people haven't had a chance to see this yet. So no spoilers at all until we get the sound drop.
Spoilers.
In 5 or 10 minutes from now. In that case, at that point, if you haven't seen the film, turn it off, go away, see the film, and then come back and tell us what you think, or indeed listen to the rest of the review.
Right.
Wayne, without spoiling anything, what's Toy Story 4 about?
Sure. A few years after the event of Toy Story 3, Woody, Buzz, and the rest of the toys are faced with a problem when their new owner, Bonnie, creates a new toy from arts and craft named Forky. Forky suffers from an existential crisis about being a toy, which the others try and help him understand how to be. Woody and the gang end up on this road trip with Bonnie and her family, which turns into an unexpected reunion as Woody's slight detour leads him to see his long-lost friend, Bo Peep. And as these guys discuss the old days, they soon start to realize that they're worlds apart when it comes to what they want from life as a toy.
Nice. Very nice description there. This film is 100 minutes long. No word yet on what the budget is. It obviously opens on a Thursday, the 20th in Australia, and the 21st of June, that is, in the States. All right. Non-spoiler impressions, Wayne. What did you think of this for 9 years since the last Toy Story 3? And of course, I am a huge fan of this series.
Paul, massive, huge fan.
Toy Story 1 and 2 are two of my absolute, if not my absolute favourite animated films up until Into the Spider-Verse was released last year.
Really?
Yeah. Toy Story 3 didn't quite hit me the same way.
Is that so?
But
because
I
a lot of people
enjoyed it.
love Toy Story 3.
Now, to give you some context, Toy Story 1 and 2 both hold 100% on Rotten Tomatoes critics meter. Toy Story 3, 98%, which the fans of the series are up in arms about, because lots of people, as you say, like 3.
Some people like them the best.
Most.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that's nuts. Well, see, speaking of 3, I had completely forgotten about what happened in 3. I didn't even know what was going on, and it was all like whatever, so I had to totally go back and watch it, skip through it, and watch the end again, which did make me cry a bit, I must admit. The ending where he gave away all of his toys to the new Bonnie girl and then said, "Goodbye, guys," and drove away to college. Bit sad.
You? Teary?
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
No.
Oh, stupid soundboard, everyone. Okay. And also, I was thinking, though, at the end of that, what the hell are they going to do with Toy Story 4?
Well, it was a perfect ending. And
It was a perfect ending. This is...
Even the fans of the series were a little bit hesitant about this particular
I'll
film.
bet. And I should mention...
Myself included.
Yeah, you being the big guy. So on
Because let's face it, how many film series this many years after the last entry into the series have been good? I can think off the top of my head of one.
Incredibles?
2.
2. All right.
Incredibles is 1, Incredibles 2, and Mad Max Fury Road.
You love Mad Max.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, I should mention, we just saw this thing like an hour ago.
Yeah, we've come out of the advanced
right back.
with huge thanks to Tash Jerkin for the invite to this advanced screening, which we were very, very privileged to go to. We even got to take my daughter and my partner, and so it was a lovely affair.
It was 4 people, me and an actual family.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hi, I'm here. But that's cool.
Fit it in. Wouldn't have known he was a creepy uncle at all.
Absolutely. So, you might say I was a tad skeptical about this, like you perhaps were, and the fact that animated kid films are not really my thing.
Yeah, so
did not help.
you're the harder sell here than I am.
I am, and I am glad to say that despite the odds, Toy Story 4, for me, is kind of every bit as magical as its predecessors. It's like, it's telling a tale that's engaging and emotional, because I just saw it, probably obviously feel it a bit harder right now, but it probably isn't quite as good as what I thought Toy Story 3 would be. However, this is dealing with a different kind of subject matter. It strives for something probably a bit more weighty for adults, self-actualization.
I think this film is actually very clever insofar as it builds upon its predecessors in a way that's quite unpredictable.
Yeah.
And it's delightful.
That's true. It is unpredictable.
It's delightful. It's charming in equal measure. It's very easy to think, oh, this is a cheap cash grab attempt. Disney, Pixar doing its thing yet again.
Well, that's what that's what it sounded like for sure.
The first trailer didn't really light a fire in anyone's ass.
This is a good call. I never actually saw any trailers. So for me, it was all clean.
More and more, the longer we do this show, the more convinced I am that seeing trailers is a bad thing.
Oh, it is. It is.
Anything beyond the first teaser.
And it's
after
really
that.
exactly. And doing a show like this, it's really hard to avoid them.
Yeah, and with a very, very significant nod to Spider-Man Far From Home, which is coming in a few weeks. Gee, the second trailer gives a lot away about that.
Does it?
Really disappointingly. So
Yeah,
I'm glad I watched the teaser trailer. I think I saw the theatrical trailer once for Toy Story 4 and promptly forgot about it. And I've never saw another bit about it again. So
and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, exactly. As much as possible, avoid that because there's some really great cameos. There's some really great moments in this movie, which if you haven't seen the trailers, really hit you. Not in a overly emotional. I don't think this one's as emotional as number 3. It didn't strike me the same chord wise. It's a much happier film. It's far less dark.
Yes, I think that's why I like this one because it's I was actually after sort of like being quite upset at the end of Toy Story 3 this morning and then going see this, I'm like, have I all cried out today? I don't know if I can take another damn like beating like this. But I think what this one is cool is that I detected a bunch of themes in this movie. I'm just going to go through them real quick.
Yeah, as long as we're not spoiling anything.
It's not spoiling.
Yep.
I think they're dealing with retirement as a theme.
Which was 3 as well. But
Totally.
This builds upon it, as you said, in a different way. Or
yes,
as I said.
I think so. Letting go of relationships, organ donation, if you can imagine such a thing. Freedom. Freedom.
That's a deep read.
And I think it might have had a little of taking care of children, possibly special needs children. I don't know if it was that.
I didn't get that.
Didn't you?
Nah.
I was like, is this a thing? And by the way, this screening had, of course, lots of kids around. I'm not used to that being a childless man. So at the end, like kids run up to the
Wayne was aghast.
I was like, look at all these kids!
All these kids ran to the front, and whilst the
little slope that goes up to the screen.
The very long credit sequence was playing out. They were running in front of the projections on the screen.
No,
and
I'm
Wayne's like, look at this, what's going on here?
And then Paul's like, this happens at every
this
kid's
is very,
movie
very normal.
screening. So there you go, a little learning from me there. But I think as an adult watching this movie, I thought there was a bit more for me as an adult here.
It does what the very best children's films do, or family films do, and there is plenty for the children. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
The rendering is incredible. I think I
yes.
turned to you very early in the film and said, gee, they animate rain well these days.
Oh, yeah. And it looked amazing, too.
The sheen on the characters is incredible. Equally, the voice cast is completely on song. Tom Hanks, I know everyone knows this, but I'm just going to say it again. Tom Hanks is a national treasure. He's an international treasure.
Wait. This from a man who hates Forrest Gump?
Yeah, I can forgive him for that.
Well, you know what? The cool thing about Tom Hanks' voice here, do you detect a note of weariness?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's good. Like, this is the 4th in the series. He's been taking care of everyone.
And he's not a young man anymore.
No, even though he's a toy and doesn't age. But I know what you mean. Like, the actual
Plays
character
it
itself.
beautifully. And this film it's very much his story. Very much his story, along with Forky.
Yeah, there's not a lot of buzz in this.
Yeah, by comparison,
Yeah.
there's not. So, but yeah, I think they're all back. They're all on song. They add some wonderful additions to the cast. And I won't mention them now for spoilers, but we'll talk about it in the spoiler section.
But he sounds like an old gunslinger who's just seen too much and lost too much. You know what I mean? Like but in a way that's not depressing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
The last probably more character based than sort of situational based, if I can put it that way. So it's probably the least funny of this and 3. I think the first 2 are way funnier films. And that's why they'll always have a very special place for me.
Because at the end of the first one where they came out of the sand and they woke up in front of the kid, that was novel. I didn't like, oh my God, they're going to do this.
Yeah.
That's what made it awesome.
I think it would be almost frightening to compare the animation on number 1 in 1995, give or take, to this one, which is fair, 24 years.
Yeah, well, it's got to be
passed.
better, right?
But nevertheless, I think that when they do come, especially towards the end of the film, because they're more character-based, and once you've got the characters, the new ones and the old ones,
that's a good
the
point.
laughs start coming a little bit more quickly, and both for kids and for adults. And again, that's such a hard line to straddle.
I think that it precisely works for this movie because the previous movies had laid such a strong foundation for the family, means we can feel the love and loyalty that's driving the heroes to kind of go back to each other and satisfy the kid, and it's really quite noble. It's fun to watch, and the things that I definitely cared very much how these characters felt for each other and what they had to do and whether they were going to stay and get back and find each other, all that sort of thing. So that's big. That means it worked.
Yeah, 100% agree. The ending, without being very specific, not very specific, sorry, very vague about it, is it has an ending which is good enough for people who are coming to this one, like kids who are coming to this one and have not seen the other 3.
Yes.
And also satisfying for fans, old school fans like myself, I'd put you in that category closer to.
Probably.
As well.
I think the thing that, like, by introducing toys external to the main cast who have lived outside a kid's room, we kind of see new aspects of Woody and Buzz, like, which is kind of thrilling after, if you're spending 25 years having known these kids or these characters, now they're interacting with it sort of in a new space. That is cool to watch, especially in a fourth movie. So that's I think they did well here.
Yep. It's clearly a huge recommend. I'm not sure there's too much more to say without spoiling.
No.
So let's give our final thoughts and a grade, which
Sure.
we don't normally do because this is an early review. We want you to know whether or not you should go and see it. Wayne, anything else final to say about it, first of all?
No, I'm just saying to you that if you don't normally like these films, you are probably seeing it because you're a podcaster. I don't know. But I didn't. I was expecting.
Or you've got kids. You're going with your kids.
You're going with your kids or whatever. I don't know if you just dig animated movies or whatever. If you dig animated movies, you'll like this one. You will not be disappointed. You may not think it's the best of the three or four, whatever, but you won't be like, oh, they screwed that up. They didn't screw it up.
They most definitely did not. All right, give us a final grade then, Wayne, from yourself.
Okay, flat 80.
Yeah, flat out. Very close. I'd give this a 77, 78.
Oh, really?
It could go higher slightly, or maybe it could drop a little bit
compared.
upon it. Yeah, because I'm very much mindful of the previous three. I think on first viewing, I like this one more than 3, which might be the equivalent of assassinating someone loved for some fans out there. But I saw 3 at home by myself, whereas I saw this one
With your daughter?
with my daughter, who was enthralled the whole way through
Did she dig it?
Yeah, she liked it. And with you and my partner, and in a cinema full of kids and parents. And that adds some magic
Oh, it
to
totally does. Where you see it absolutely matters. So that's cool.
So I 100% agree. This is an absolute endorsement. And
Do you think this is
the best animated film of the year? It beats out The Hidden World, How to Train Your Dragon, the third one in that series. It's a perfect...
Spider-Man.
That was last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Shit. Okay,
November
then.
last year.
All right, fine.
So this is the one. You can almost put a stamp on it unless something magical comes out incredibly incredible in the last half of the year. This will win the best animated picture next year for sure.
Oh, call for
There's
ball.
a big call very early on. So Toy Story 4, huge plus from the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews. That is it for the non-spoiler section. Let's now hit the button and please get out of here if you haven't seen the film yet. And we hope that you're listening to this. If you haven't, press pause, move on. We'll see you back here after you've seen the film. All right, it's free for all now. If you're still here, you've seen the film, or don't care about if it's spoiled for you. Wayne, what do you want to tell you about the script / plot? Everything now.
I want to say Keanu Reeves.
The Keanu Science continues.
Oh, big time.
Holy shit, this man is on fire.
How does this? It's like the thing is, whenever you do production takes 6 months, a year, a couple of years. Sometimes.
Tom Hanks laid down his voice track for this, his first attempt at the voice track for this in 2016.
You're kidding.
According to Wikipedia.
What?
So that's how long this film's been in production for, and yet somehow the stars have aligned.
Yeah, the second it drops, there's already a Keanu song, and then he's in it. Now, he plays a motorcycle stuntman toy named Duke Kaboom, a Canadian daredevil. And he's, I don't know, when he comes on, he says about 3 lines, and I'm like, that's Keanu.
You did.
And I keep on, Paul, it's Keanu Reeves. And it is.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. There was... what's his name?
Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele.
So Key and Peele were in there.
Bunny and Ducky and Bunny.
Ducky and Bunny, which are
Ducky?
two stuffed toys that are joined at the hands, which is quite good. I sort of wondered if it was them. I couldn't quite pick it, but it totally makes sense now.
Yep.
Those two.
And they interact well. They're part of... So they end up at this sort of carnival / sideshow type thing, and they are part of the prizes for a shoot something game, and that's how they meet Buzz. And
it's good because they're kind of gangster.
Yeah, it's a little. And you see some of that in the very first trailer, I think it was, but they have a lot of lines that they've held back, which is great. I'm so glad they didn't spoil the best jokes from those 2 characters, because that's purely what they're here for, to be comic relief. And towards the end of the film, they really get a chance to shine in a couple of scenes.
I would agree.
A lot of fun.
I would agree. And there's like a deal with this movie where, and this is something that's really I liked very much. The baddie or the antagonist,
Gabby.
Gabby is a lovely young female toy. Like a little girl toy with a pull string thing.
Which isn't working that well.
Which isn't working so well. And so she's basically, it seems like she's got henchmen, which are these like ventriloquist
rubbernecked ventriloquist dolls, which are the scariest part of the film. But they're so, even then they're pretty innocuous, although I think my fiance and my daughter both gasped at one point.
No, there's a couple of moments which are slightly dark, I would have thought, for a kid's movie. But only
this is
just
following
seconds.
Toy Story 3, where at one stage they're all going to be burnt to death. sliding down
Yeah, I
into
guess
his trash thing.
I guess so.
So
I guess
that's
so.
nothing.
So
This film is way lighter. Like Gabby's whole motivation is to be loved.
Yes, she wants to be loved, so she
Lotso
basically...
in the third one is he just wants to be this totalitarian leader, and you'll do what I tell you to do, or you'll go into prison.
Yes, and that's why this is layered. I like this a lot more because Gabby seems to be the villain. She wants the voice box in Woody so that she can fix her own and then maybe be loved by a kid one day. And all of that stuff that happens, about sort of like third act, you see that she's actually not evil. She just wants love like everyone else, and she did ask Woody for his voice box, which he then gives her. Now,
And they all come together.
that's the best
Yeah.
thing about this film. Towards the end, they're all like, the girl, like the Gabby finds an actual kid. Everyone's together again. The Bo Peep thing. Now tell me this: in the original, Bo Peep was in the first one or the second one?
I honestly can't. I don't think she was in the second one. I think she was written out.
And were her and Woody fucking?
It's interesting that the sexual undertones, and it's weird as that is to talk about in a kids' film, are more pronounced in the first film.
What? Tell me
Despite,
about it.
she kisses him on the cheek. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's
he's
what I
like,
remember. Yeah, and this one is
this
like
one, it's not so much. They're like friends.
Well, they are. But like the will they won't they is them hugging kind of,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Where's not even going to kiss on the cheek? In this
Yeah,
one.
not even a kiss. So I don't even know what that's about. Actually, I do know what that's about. But
I mean, clearly. So at the end of the film, Woody makes a decision because he's no longer on the top tier of toys with Bonnie.
that's right. She doesn't like him as much anymore. She keeps him in the cupboard. So he's like, well,
Yeah.
maybe there's nothing more for me with Bonnie.
So I said that very well. So it's very satisfying when he decides to stay and be an unowned toy with Bo Peep and her sheep,
Yes.
and Ducky and Bunny,
Literally going out on his
and Duke. What was his name?
What,
Duke
Carl?
Kaboom.
Oh, Duke Kaboom. Yeah.
So they all sort of hang out together, and they're going to be free. if you
Well,
will.
that scene at the end, we're talking about the animation, but it's lit so beautifully in gold, right? That it's almost like the end of the world kind. The way that, because all the toys came out and said, "Hey, Woody," and basically he had to say goodbye to all of them.
Which I was thinking to myself, hang on, he's not even going to go back. What about Jessie?
I know.
And then they all came walking out.
That's right. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be nasty. And then, actually, if I'd allowed myself to, I would have rolled a manly tear. I didn't allow myself to, but I was like, that's pretty like forcing you to deal with life kind of moment, but in as nice a way as possible, because of course he's choosing to be with presumably the doll he loves.
Yeah. That's,
Which is actually better than just, because then you'll resent your old friends if you're just still there in 10, 20 years, whatever. This is better.
Yeah, and there's also a nice moment where he passes his sheriff's badge on to Jessie.
Yes.
And Jessie is now the sheriff, which Bonnie herself had done
Yeah.
early in the film as well. So that's an acknowledgement that she is now going to shepherd these toys with Buzz Lightyear's help
Yeah.
into the future.
Exactly. But at the end of the movie, you can love everyone you saw on the screen.
Yep.
Even, Gabby?
Yep.
Because she's okay.
That's fine.
And they help her. So it's cool. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Forky, the weirdness of the film is Forky keeps trying to effectively kill himself
Yes.
by
Now,
throwing
let's talk
himself
about-
into trash
Let's
because
just cover that.
he is a fork who's been made, and he can't get out of his head that he's a toy. He can't become a toy now. In his mind, at least for most of the film, he's still a fork, and therefore he is trash. He's meant to be used or spork and then thrown out.
But for him to say, like, hey, you're a toy now, Forky, but he's like, he looks like he's obviously a simple, crude toy. So I don't know if it's
He's got
like
mismatched eyes.
he's supposed to be simple, basically. So he's like trash, and he just runs towards the thing and jumps in, and they're like, no, and that kind of thing. I don't know if it seemed like Woody was taking care of a challenged child to me. That's where I got that from. But maybe it's just a kid,
Well, Kara, I think, but that's the way he was built. He's built to be used and discarded, and he couldn't get that out of his head initially.
And that's what this whole thing is about. It's like, what are you really here for?
Yeah.
So that's why it's cool.
There's some layers. There's
Totally.
definitely some layers here. I'll say a couple of things which brought my score down to the 78.
Yeah, okay, go on.
One, I mentioned that the laughs take a while to kind of build. I thought the first half of the film was, while still charming, and I was still in it, and I was never lost.
No, it's not a laugh riot.
It's not as funny as those first two films were.
Yeah, I'd
in
agree with
particular. So it lost a little bit there. And I thought, as much as they had to, it's a 100-minute film, a good 10 minutes of that is credits. So I understand why. I'm not complaining that it's not longer. But it was a little bit of a shame to see the Wallace Shawns and the John Ratzenbergers, the Rexes and the Hams.
You think there wasn't enough of
And
them?
the Slinkies, who was originally played by the guy who played Jim Vardy, who's obviously dead now, so they've replaced him.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That was a little bit of a shame to me, that they were so sidelined that they're not as profound as they used to be.
Funny you should say that, because I would say that and look, this is purely a result of my short attention span, and it's a cartoon that I'm not necessarily that into. I actually was probably a couple of bits where I'm like, I could use a new scene here. Like I was probably a little fatigued in some bits, but again, it's me. This is a less than 100-minute film, and I'm still
spot on 100 minutes is the time.
So I don't know. It's that's the only bad thing I can say about it. Like it didn't drag necessarily, but I wouldn't say I was enthralled. But then again, I'm not the target audience.
Yeah.
So
that's it really for
as
me.
Good as it could be. Absolutely.
That's all I really wanted to say. Given we walked out, as you said, we got home back about an hour ago from seeing the film. Very, very pleased. I'm very, very glad that they have gone back to the well here in the end. This has helped write a very long run of pretty average films that we reviewed here on the Countdown. So I'm glad this is a big, solid positive. And I think this is going to make all the money. It's going to make squillions of dollars.
You know what? You may. I would agree.
Not Avengers Endgame dollars, but it's going to make I don't know 6, 7, 800 million maybe.
I think that it might be unnecessary, but it's still worthwhile and kind of magical. So it's really not that unnecessary. But you'd be, if you walked into it thinking that, I totally understand.
Yeah, fascinatingly, it opens at the same time or around about the same time as Child's Play.
Does it?
Child's Play's advertising has played on its opening against Toy Story 4. So like Chucky killing Woody and Chucky killing Buzz.
Come on!
Which I admire the advertising.
If I was the marketing guy for them, I'd do the same damn thing.
The Secret Life of Pets 2 is also just opened in the States, so it's another animated film going right up against it.
I'll bet you everyone's happy about that.
I think this one's going to do a lot better than that one.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I've seen number 2, but I just can't imagine it will engender as good, as positive a feelings as this film.
This is the only one of those 3 I'm seeing, so yeah, absolutely.
There we go. All right, well, that is it for us. An 80 for Wayne, a 78 for me. Huge recommendation from the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews podcast. Thank you so much for joining us for this review.
Thanks,
Let us know what you think once you've seen the film. You can do so on Twitter at The Countdown PC, via email at thecountdownpodcast@gmail.com, through our Facebook listener community, which the link is in the show notes, or check out the show on the website that we are part of our network, CC Radio, ccradio.com.au. Check out the other great shows there as well. What a pleasure it's been.
Thanks, guys. Check out any of our other reviews if you're into it. Until next time, my name is Wayne.
My name is Paul, and we will see you very soon, in the next couple of days, for our top 10 bad girls of cinema.
Boom.
Catch you next time.
See ya.
And this has been, of course, the
Yeah, I was
soundboard.
hoping not to get through this.
How about we throw to a Keanu one?
Whoa, hold on.
Seems appropriate.
It doesn't even sound like Keanu, so not really, and let's to hell with that soundboard. All right.
See you next time.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, just remember what your old pal said. You've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. Ooh,